go through, we look at the beginning of your creation. And when I say the beginning of your creation, if you think about how your parents got started. Now, some of you, we all know how you all were created. You know that part. The one thing I'm talking about now is how did your parents begin? So just like the beginning of America and the literary concept in America, we look at how those beginnings entail. So were your parents high school sweethearts? Did they meet in college? Did they meet at a club one day and started dating? What happened to bring them together? And then, you guys were created and made. Not just that, how was your family created? Remember I asked you guys, what happened with your family? Like for me, I know my grandparents been together since they were together for 70 years. My grandmother met my grandfather when she was in the 8th grade. She had my first uncle, when she was 17 years old. They were married for 60 some odd years before my grandfather passed. And so I know that's how our family began. And I'm going through this because as we begin to go through your origin myths and we start on our foundational documents, you have to have that foundation. And you have to understand that foundation. One of the things with our foundational document is how are we building upon that level of creation that we have. Think about it. Your parents created you. Or their parents created them. Then your parents created you. And those of you that will have kids in the future, so you're building that generation after generation. That means you're going to pass those stories on down. But also, you have to have those elements within, you have to have those rules. Now, I know we talked about one thing with Ms. Williams, we discussed, the things you guys don't like, the things you're not approving of or you're not aware of, the respect factor, the clothing, all of those things. That is also a part of building your foundation, because when you build that foundation and you build those elements, you understand what you can do and what you cannot do. It's essential for that. And as part of America, we had to learn how we were built. We had to figure out how we were built in order to create this country that we're in right now. And part of that building went into our foundational documents. And when we look at the foundational documents, we look at the Declaration of Independence, we look at the Constitution, and we also look at our Bill of Rights. And the one thing that I'm going to go over more so are our Bill of Rights, because for you guys, your Bill of Rights tell you what rights you have. And not just what rights you have as a culture or as a dynamic, but what rights are afforded to you as a person. We all know we have what? Freedom to do what? Freedom of speech. You have freedom to do what else? Bear arms. What else? Say it again. You don't realize you guys have the freedom of religion. You have the freedom to not allow people to come into your homes unannounced. But now the freedom to bear arms, let's go into that. What's so good about the freedom to bear arms? What's good about it? To protect yourself, what else? Protect family members, what else? What's bad about being able to bear arms? Say it again. The wrong people get guns. What else? Is there anything bad about bearing arms? Is there anything, right, is there anything bad about being able to understand what your rights are? So, part of that is an effective argument. So we're going to use those, we're going to learn about rhetorical appeals and their effects and why, authors use these rhetorical appeals. Like, why is an author trying to persuade you into doing something? Why is an author trying to inform you of your rights? So right now, as we look at our documents, because we're going to go back and look at these documents, one of the things that we all think about, the first thing was freedom of speech, being able to look into the concept of having not only our freedom of speech, but also our freedom of religion, having our freedom to bear arms, having the concept to also look at you have the right to privacy. The right to privacy is one of those rights that many people don't look at all the time because it's not listed within their document. It is listed as unalienable rights. Why is that necessary to have unalienable rights? Because those are the rights in which you see and you use, but they're not listed. So when we are in school, like you guys are in school right now, you see all these things going on. We know every obstacle that you guys are facing right now. The question is, are you prepared for it? So when I say, are you prepared for it? We look at the various entities which will cause us to think about how we are going through different obstacles or different things. So one of the things I'm going to have you guys look at before we go into talking really about the Bill of Rights is this quick little video, which some of you probably saw it with either Mr. Baker or Miss